Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym. We went silent last week. That's because Rachel and I were at a conference out of town, and it's extremely difficult to do. I could take my glasses off before I do this show, huh? It's extremely difficult to do these shows when there's like 200 people around you the entire time, but I guarantee you at some point we are probably... guarantee you probably that works out a lot, or it works out real well, but I guarantee you at some point we will do a show while we're on the road, and hopefully we get a lot of engagement from the crowd around us while we're doing it. It's just it's a huge distraction, and thanks guys for forgiving us for that. But forgiveness is one of those funny things, like asking for forgiveness, like as if somebody had the power to forgive you, like as if somebody besides you had the power to forgive you, and asking for it could make a thing, or that there was even an error placed in the situation. Like if you didn't make an error, then what would there be to be forgiven? And the whole forgiveness thing, it's just kind of interesting. But anyway, so we were in LA and we went to this conference. It was really cool. There was about 200 people there, and it was very much just like an expansion of the mind. And like as I was sitting here like thinking about what to talk about today and like what I wanted to present on, and I don't even know if I really consider this much of a presentation, because it was just like there's something here. I don't really even know what it is. But we did a lot of cool stuff when we were there. I've been to LA numerous times. I've never really enjoyed it. I think it's kind of a garbage dump of a city. It's just a veneer. It's just a front. Everything's a front, and everything behind that front is just kind of like gross. But it was interesting. It's the first time I've ever been there with Rachel, and Rachel really likes it there. So we went there, and she had all the stuff that she wanted to do outside of the conference, and I had no idea why we were showing up to it. So that was kind of interesting. And she wanted to go to this, I wouldn't call it a club. It's kind of like this bar. It's not really even a bar. It's like a bar. It's like an upscale bar where they have like appetizers and food. They have food and stuff too. But anyway, so she got a reservation, and we went to and the whole time she... or not the whole time, while we were there, she said, like, you don't even know why we're here, do you? And I was like, no, I have no clue why we're here. Like, what is so special about this place? Anyway, apparently, and we did this twice, and both times it was like she played me. Both times she said, there's a reality TV show that gets shot here, and I really like it. And I was like... I had no clue what was going on, but it was a great time. They were both really cool places to go, and we can talk more about them tomorrow when she's on the show. Unintentional rhyme there, but I'm good at those apparently. I do it all the time where I notice that I rhyme, and it's just like, why, oh why did I sit there and do that? But anyway, the two topics that are kind of going through my head right now that I wanted to kind of talk about today, that I haven't gotten my head wrapped around this enough to really make this like a definitive statement and understand like the full, like how far this goes. But I know that it goes, I'm 99.9% sure that this goes much further than my brain is even allowing me to go to right now. But I really think like if you think of life and all the things that are going to happen throughout your life, on some level, life is this game of, or not this game, but this series of decisions. You make one decision and it goes this way, another decision and it goes this way. You know, the date with destiny sort of thing. And you keep on making these different decisions as you go along. And the thing is, each one of those decisions is extremely important. Each one of those decisions makes you able to, is how the next one is going to be, how they're going to stack up, and that's going to accumulate to your entire life. And if there's anything that you're missing in your life, that like if your health isn't quite where you want it to be, your nutrition, your six pack, your arms, your strength, your whatever, your relationships, your body, your mind, anything that is going on, your money, anything that is going on in that space, I really think like you're just one decision away from all of that going in a direction that you do want it to go. And I think like that's just there's something that's been playing out over in my head over and over. And some of us are in situations that we can't control, right? So would that decision affect that thing that we couldn't control? Well, it affects our experience of that. So then I would say yes, I think that would probably have to play in there. So if life is this series of decisions, and we get to make the decisions along the way, then you are in a position where just like something isn't stacking up the way that you wanted it to stack up to at this point, then you are just one decision away from the improvement to everything that you want it to be. And I keep on running through that head. You're just one decision away. You're just one decision away. You're one decision away. I don't know quite how to communicate that yet. Maybe that's just how it needs to be communicated. But I really think like all of us are just one decision away. Like I meet people at the gym on a daily basis that are on like a deep emotional level, very troubled by where their body is, where their life is, where their relationships are, where their fitness is, where where their fat mass is, and their body image, like the image that they see when they look in the mirror, is just not what they want, or they get a picture taken of themselves and they're just like deep rooted, like pain down deep. And I really think like you are one decision away from going to Grit Gym, one decision away from the realization that the nutritional realization that, oh, this is how that works and that's how I'm going to use it. Even though you've heard it 100 times, maybe one time it clicks and all of a sudden, bam, it takes off, and you made that decision to accept that perspective, and it went your way. You're just one decision away. A lot of people, when they're getting into that emotional eating cycle, a lot of you guys have seen the video that we did that I wouldn't say it went viral, but it got seen by a decent number of people. The one where you come home from a hard day, so you eat some ice cream, and you feel guilty that you ate the ice cream, so then you end up getting mad at yourself. So while you're sitting there stewing, your spouse asks you what's wrong, and you spit back at them something nasty, and then you feel guilty for that, so you go and you eat a cookie, and then you feel guilty for the cookie, so then you go and you get mad at yourself for eating the cookie, so you go and you kick the cat, and then you feel bad for kicking the cat, and you just have this cycle. So you go and you eat something else that you don't want, and you have this cycle. But really, in that cycle, that was a series of decisions. You decided to get mad, you decided to feel guilt over the thing, you decided to feel shame, you decided to do all those things. And in that moment, we can look back at that and we can stop, be very curious about why we're doing this. Like, this is one of the, like, if you watch the show very often, I talk about curiosity a lot. Be very curious about what's going on in that moment, and then you're just one decision away. In that moment, you are in any of those moments, you're one decision away from going on this chasing your tail sort of thing around and being all pissed off, to having the life that you actually want to live and not being all pissed off. You have the choice to be like all in or afraid that you're not enough. So you're just one decision away from health, from the life that you want to live, from the experience that you want to have in this life. You're just one decision away. I don't know quite how I'm going to communicate that in a better way, but like, I think that we are, all of us, every single one of us, we're just one. And this wasn't something that was talked about at the conference. It was just, I was thinking about how it came to I heard somebody say something about you're just one something away. I forget what the deal was, but I started thinking of that, and then I started thinking of decisions, and I started thinking of like how Rach and I got to this point in our relationship, and how I got to this point in my life, and how like going to these conferences and stuff like that. I had to make the decision to go to the conference, and from the conference, I expanded my brain, and my brain could think about other things, and then I could do all this other cool stuff, right? And then I made all these little decisions along the way that took me to where I am, and to where my brain is. And I think everybody does that, but I could have gone down a totally different path, which I have done in the past. Like I picked up a bottle and got too much into drinking. I started only focusing on all this stuff that could not serve me in any way, and it didn't lead anywhere good. I made the decisions to go down that negative path, or I made decisions to come up out of it. So you're just one decision away. I think that's something that's really, I don't know if it's resonating with you guys, but it's resonating in my brain, and it's just something I'm mulling over a lot lately. And the other thing is, like, along with that, I think a lot of people are operating with it, like they're making these decisions whether they're aware of them or not, right? And they're going along. And the thing that going to these conferences all this time, I mean, the first conference I went to was when I was 15. It was at the University of Iowa with Chris Doyle. That was the first conference I ever went to. It was a speed clinic, a strength and speed clinic, and it was awesome. It was the coolest thing that I'd ever done at that point in my life. One of the coolest things I'd ever done at that point in my life. And I really enjoyed it. And reading all the books on strength and conditioning. And anyway, I was accumulating information, right? But I still had tons of the wrong information. And then I got injured. And then I went to physical therapy and I got more information. And then I went back and I started training again. But then I got injured again. And then I got injured again. And then I got injured again. And I was operating all this really not that great information. And whether I didn't have enough information or whether I had the wrong information, I think I had the wrong information. Because it's really not, strength and conditioning, Bruce Lee said that when he first started training martial arts, he said he thought that a kick was just a kick and a punch was just a punch. And then as he got into it, he was like, wow, it's so much more complicated than a punch is just a punch and a kick is just a kick. It's so much more than that. And then later on in his life, when he became a master, he told this story, and he said now that he was a master, he was back to, it's very simple. A kick is just a kick and a punch is just a punch. But I think we're operating on the wrong information, whether that's, and I don't think it's the hardware. Everybody thinks it's the genetics. Everybody thinks it's the genetics that you have that is making it harder for you to live your life, harder for you to do the things that you need to do. I'm predisposed to being fat. Yes, maybe so, but still, that does not mean that you can't. I think so many people are operating on the wrong information. And if you're not where you want to be in your life, you're just one decision away from getting the information that you do need in order to live the life that you want to have. So your body, your energy, your money, your relationships, your time, and the way that you spend all of those and the way that you use all those resources to live the experience that you want, if you're not where you want to be, I 100% believe that you have the wrong information. I think like you have the wrong information in there somewhere. If you're not where you want to be, you have the wrong information. Because you have plenty of information. All of us do. If you're over 4 years old, you have tons of information. Okay, tons and tons and tons of information. The majority you learn more in the first 2 years of your life than you will learn in the other however many years you have on this planet. The accumulation of those first 2 years, you will learn more than you ever learn for the rest of it. So by the time you're 4, you have tons of information. Now, we have tons and tons and tons of information. What is holding us back from living the life that we actually want to have? You have the wrong information. So you got to change that information, and you got to hit it and over and over and over again, because we like to be loyal to this information that we do have. Like, no, that's what my dad taught me. No, that's what my mom taught me. No, that's what my teacher taught me. Oh, this, that, or the other. Like, we are extremely loyal to that information. And I don't know if there's anything wrong with being loyal, but if it's getting in the way of you pushing towards the life that you want to have, then that loyalty is actually impeding you. That's like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, but the devil you know is killing you, and you still want to stick it out with him. That's where it loses me. But I think those are 2 things that I'm rolling over in my head right now that I wanted to talk about today, and you guys can tell me what you think about it. But I really think, everybody, you're just one decision away from everything that you want, from the health that you want, from the life that you want, from the relationships that you want. That you're one decision away, because that one decision is going to stack to another decision. It's going to stack to another decision, to stack to another decision. You got to think, like, if you're 98 years old and you pick out and you start smoking, is it going to matter? No. If you're 12 years old and you start smoking, is it going to affect you more when you're 98? Is that one cigarette when you were 12 going to affect you more at 98, or is that one cigarette at 98 going to affect you more? It's going to affect you more at 12. Because at 12, you had all those years to have that effect on you. So what you do, that you're one decision away from either direction. Okay. And if you're not where you want to be, it's because you have the wrong information. Anyway, I'm going to cut this one short today. I have a lot to get cut back up on. We were gone from last Wednesday, and we got in last night at like 12:30, so we crawled in bed at like 1. So I'm dragging, I'm pushing, I'm trying, but energy isn't quite like it usually is, especially on a Monday. Usually on a Monday, I'm a terror. Not this day, but let's see what we can do. Sometimes when you're down, do you guys ever notice this? Like Joe DiMaggio has the quote, something about run hardest when your feet are sore. But some of the best sporting performances that I ever had were where I was sore, I was tired, we just had a hard practice, and those were some of the best ones I ever had, because I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to just play as well as I usually do, so I got to up my game so much more than I usually already do, but I was already going as hard as I can. Now I got to go even harder. I think we all have that second level, that next level up. I think we always have the ability to level up. When you hit your absolute best, then your absolute best is just going to get better, right? I think that's what happens when you level up. But anyway, that's what I got to do today. So I hope you guys can do the same. But I'm going to hop off the show. Hope you guys got something out of this. Remember, you're just one decision away. You're just one decision away from everything that you've ever wanted. But anyway, talk with you soon. We'll be back with Rachel and Adam show tomorrow. All right, thanks, guys.